Hey everyone, I previously said that in the second half of this year, the domestic handheld market has fully entered the dual-screen era. And just like that, I've managed to get my hands on dual-screen Android handheld consoles from 3 different manufacturers. But while they all appear to be dual-screen, how these 3 machines achieve dual-screen functionality and their overall design philosophies are completely distinct. For example, this AYANEO Pocket DS has a clamshell form factor, which provides a stronger overall cohesiveness. The primary method it employs for dual-screen gameplay is a dual-screen independent display, meaning each of the 2 screens outputs a distinct image. Conversely, this one netbook S1 transforming machine, as its name implies, features a morphing design that allows for seamless switching between single and dual screen configurations. Its approach to facilitating dual screen gaming is predominantly through dual screen merging. This means that its 2 screens can merge into a single display, creating a continuous image. However, Retroid's approach isn't a naturally designed dual screen handheld. Instead, they've introduced an official extended screen attachment, enabling compatible single screen models to convert into dual screen devices. But unfortunately, the user experience of this particular machine, well, let's just say it leaves a lot to be desired right now. So let's begin today by discussing the AYANEO Pocket DS. This device is the most advanced among current dual-screen handhelds, boasting the highest level of completion. It's scheduled for official shipment in mid-September. After using it for some time, my impression of this machine is quite favorable. In short, its 2 most outstanding advantages are its substantial size, and this substantial size refers to the large screens. Both its main and secondary screens are huge. The 7-inch plus 5-inch screen combo can truly be called extra large. On the other hand, its size is also reflected in its massive battery. With an 8000 mAh battery, you basically won't have any battery anxiety. The second advantage that really impressed me is its console software, especially the control functions for the dual screens, which are very well done. The software is really impressive, boasting a clean and straightforward interface along with a wealth of features. I'll delve deeper into this aspect shortly. It even allows for seamless switching of display content between the primary and secondary screens with a simple 3-finger swipe. It's incredibly fluid. There's no need to elaborate further on its exterior design and meticulous craftsmanship. This is a consistent strength of AYANEO, and we've already discussed it in detail in our previous video. During the China Joy Expo, here, I'll simply demonstrate the texture and appearance from various angles in natural light, especially this CNC metal A side, which is incredibly comfortable to touch. Now let's examine the screen-to-body ratio and vibrant color display of both screens. They're truly striking. These are the kind of displays that become more captivating the longer you gaze at them. The display quality is genuinely superb. Additionally, after a few days of hands-on use, I discovered that this device is surprisingly thin. Its perceived thickness comes from the ergonomic grip protrusions on both sides of the back. The central body of the machine is actually quite well controlled in terms of slimness. You can discern this from one particular detail. Do you recall AYANEO's Windows dual-screen handheld console? On that unit, the TF card was inserted vertically, whereas on this one, you can simply slide it straight in. This is definitely much more conservative than their in-house Windows dual-screen device at the very least. What's more, there's ample clearance on both sides of the device, ensuring your joystick buttons won't press against the screen. And the hinge on the unit I have right now, with its damping and stepless suspension adjustment, is much better tuned than the display unit at the China Joy exhibition. It's incredibly steady and it can be stopped at any angle. It can even hover beyond 135 degrees and won't just spring open to 180 degrees. The tactile feel when fully flattened is also very precisely tuned. Alright, next, I'll provide a user experience report based on its 2 primary features. The first major advantage is its large display. This device boasts the largest screen among dual-screen handheld consoles currently on the market. This is a dual-screen handheld console. My hands are quite large, and you can see a comparison of these 2 screens with my palm. Now, some of you might ask, is a large screen really an advantage? I prefer something compact and exquisite. Well, I can assure you, if you're playing games on Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo DS emulator platforms, then the screen size absolutely needs to be as large as possible. This is because these 2 dual-screen gaming platforms have a multitude of touch controls specifically for the secondary screen. These touch-enabled games were initially conceived for use with a resistive screen and the stylus, providing much greater precision compared to using a finger on a capacitive screen. Therefore, if your secondary screen is excessively small, you will find that trying to tap these UI response interfaces with your finger just won't be accurate. However, when our secondary screen is adequately sized, even when using your finger, its precision can rival that of a stylus. What's more, even in some games that necessitate writing or drawing, you can precisely write text or sketch graphics with just your finger. This type of user experience is simply unattainable on a small-screen dual-screen device. Additionally, the larger screen allows for greater visibility of intricate details. So when playing NDS games, the experience in a way transcends that of the original console. Regrettably, due to the input lag inherent in emulators, for rhythm games and those requiring very precise and quick responses, the experience still falls short of the original hardware. Furthermore, on the Pocket DS, the top screen is OLED, while the bottom is LCD. The top one boasts a high refresh rate, whereas the bottom one does not. Since it's not a high refresh rate screen, the two displays have different specifications. There's an inevitable color difference between them, but the color difference perceived by the naked eye is actually smaller than what the camera captures, keeping it within an acceptable range. When playing NDS games, the top screen is actually slightly larger than the bottom one, so when playing games where the top and bottom screens display continuous visuals, we can use the emulator to adjust the supported custom display resolution. When playing NDS games, the lower screen offers a significant advantage. It's a 4:3 aspect ratio display with a 1024x768 resolution, allowing it to render NDS game visuals in pixel-perfect clarity without any black bars. Gamers familiar with emulators understand the immense value of pixel-perfect rendering. It truly appears incredibly sharp and precise. This makes this device the best hardware currently available for emulating NDS games. Additionally, since its top screen is somewhat larger, we can even switch the top and bottom screens for some games. This allows us to place the more important, essential visual content on the top screen, which then provides a more immersive and impactful large-screen gaming experience. It can be said that revisiting those classic NDS games on these two large screens on this console provides a truly refreshing and stunning audio-visual experience, which is absolutely fantastic. Moreover, many NDS games require you to play with the device held vertically, allowing the two screens to interact visually. In such cases, the clamshell design, resembling a book, makes it remarkably comfortable and suitable to hold and play in this upright position. And as I just mentioned, because the display is sufficiently expansive, your operations are incredibly precise and fluid, even for games that rely solely on touch controls. Emulating older NDS titles on this device makes the screen appear so much larger that many of these games truly feel like entirely new experiences. So let's now examine its performance when emulating 3DS games. For instance, my personal favorite, Kid Icarus Uprising. Take Kid Icarus Uprising, for example. The fan translation for this game has finally been completed, which is great news for everyone. In terms of performance, this device is equipped with our familiar G3x Gen 2 processor, which is essentially an overclocked full-power Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Combined with the 16GB of RAM on my unit, you could say that its performance for 3DS game emulation is entirely overqualified. Most games operate flawlessly at 4x resolution. This particular game also necessitates utilizing the bottom screen for precise aiming via touch controls. This is precisely where the benefit of the generously sized screen becomes apparent once more, allowing you to achieve remarkably accurate aiming with your finger. In addition to serving as a touch-sensitive aiming pad, the bottom screen of this game also presents various story elements and conversational dialogue. Subtitles. At this point, the advantage of the large subscreen truly comes into its own. When we use our fingers to operate on it, it doesn't obstruct too much of the screen, nor does it hinder your viewing of the story. Additionally, for the game Kid Icarus, on some less powerful machines, it can run quite smoothly during air combat, but experiences noticeable stutter during ground battles. However, the Pocket DS console can handle it. Even in intense land battle scenarios, it never stutters, providing an incredibly fluid overall gameplay experience. Similarly, when playing other demanding games that are usually prone to lag, like Hyrule Warriors, it runs smoothly the entire time. It also upscales games to 4x resolution, allowing these classic games to be enjoyed with significantly improved model precision. This is the greatest significance of playing on an emulator. This is the true essence of playing on an emulator. Whether they're action, RPG, or tactical games, if they feature scenes rendered with 3D models, these older titles can achieve an effect similar to a high-definition remaster. Looking back at these games in 2025, we certainly have the option to play them on their original hardware for an authentic experience. However, with the advent of these high-performance dual-screen Android handhelds, we now have more choices to revitalize these classic games. Android handhelds offer you an additional choice, an alternative that breathes new life into classic games, making them feel fresh and modern once more. This is a visual comparison highlighting the differences in screen size, brightness, and color between the AYANEO Pocket DS and the Nintendo new 3DS XL, making the superior quality immediately apparent. However, despite these advantages, the original console still possesses its unique and irreplaceable feature, which is glasses-free 3D. There are even some 3DS games that necessitate the glasses-free 3D function for puzzle solving. For these, the emulator's 2D screen, even at an 8x resolution, simply cannot address the issue. However, beyond this specific point, the AYANEO Pocket DS arguably provides a comprehensively superior experience for emulating 3DS games compared to the original console. Another really important advantage of this device is its massive battery. The 8000 mAh battery ensures abundant power and extensive endurance for all sorts of scenarios. To showcase just how powerful its battery life is, I'll refer to data from fellow creator Woshihao Jingming. As you can see, it offers an astonishing 6 to 7 hours, or even up to 9 hours of usage in most common situations. That being said, The trade-off for this amazing functionality is that the device now weighs 530 grams, which is definitely not on the lighter side. If you had to choose, would you opt for extended battery life or a more lightweight device? Moving on, let's talk about its second standout feature, which is its exceptionally well-designed software. It's widely known that AYANEO's front-end and console software has consistently been at the forefront of quality in the domestic handheld console market. In the business, and this time, thanks to the unique hardware features of this dual-screen handheld console, its console software has been further improved. It can directly utilize the secondary screen as a full-fledged control console. This includes Android's native function adjustment icons, which are directly incorporated into the secondary screen, as well as a range of game-related settings like trigger force adjustment and the device's performance mode. Adjustments, fan strategies, and so much more. This means there's no need to bring up the console on the main screen, preventing it from obscuring any part of your game. You also won't have to open a separate menu just to make these adjustments. Instead, a simple tap of your finger on the secondary screen's icon offers highly intuitive and efficient control. During gameplay, this secondary screen functions like a dashboard, clearly displaying all of the machine's various performance parameters. This makes it perfect for players who enjoy customizing their experience. As the game environment changes, you can adjust the device's vibration intensity on the fly or quickly modify settings such as continuous firing for specific buttons. For instance, if one level demands rapid button presses and another requires a different button to be held down continuously, I can make those adjustments instantly on the secondary screen. Additionally, the console's optimization for the dual screen feature is incredibly considerate. At its base, there are 3 interfaces dedicated to the primary and secondary displays. For instance, you can effortlessly launch an app on the secondary screen with a single tap. Furthermore, one interface permits individual brightness adjustments for both main and secondary screens, and 2 quick access icons enable capturing screenshots from either display. Secondary screen, which is very thoughtful. However, when 2 apps are open on the main and secondary screens, the audio output simultaneously. I suggest adding a feature to adjust the volume for each screen's app individually. The device also supports using only the main screen or only the secondary screen to save battery when single screen gaming. Its top screen has a 16:9 high refresh rate display, great for playing new games and mobile games, and it's well designed. A subtle detail is that when the secondary screen is turned off and you call up the console menu, it slides out as a sidebar, essentially transforming the device into a single-screen handheld. What's more, it doesn't prevent you from reactivating the secondary screen directly from that sidebar menu. The dual-screen control features are also seamlessly integrated into the main screen's menu. It's clear that nearly every possible user scenario has been anticipated. Also, a very interesting feature is that when you switch off the secondary screen, it incredibly turns into a touchpad. At this point, a mouse cursor appears on the main screen, allowing you to click, select, and scroll, which is quite fun for surfing the internet. And when you turn off the main screen, the 5-inch 4:3 display on its lower panel transforms it into a large retro gaming handheld. This 4:3 aspect ratio LCD screen delivers excellent color performance, making it perfect for playing various 4:3 retro emulator platforms in full screen mode without any black bars. Here, we can directly compare its screen size with the RG477M, which also features a 4:3 screen. The Pocket DS is even larger, and its color performance. The Pocket DS boasts more vibrant and richer colors, and with its enhanced performance, it fully supports a wide range of PS2 games. For switching between applications across the 2 screens, it also includes a 3-finger drag function. Just swipe it down, then swipe it back up, and it's incredibly smooth. However, the control software on my current media unit isn't the final version yet, and there are still some considerations. In certain applications like Bilibili, a 3-finger swipe during full-screen playback will cause it to exit full screen. Additionally, in some games, a 3-finger drag can lead to the game restarting. I truly hope the developers continue to optimize this incredibly useful feature, ensuring that when the official version ships, players will have a much better experience. The final standout feature is the focus lock function for dual-screen applications. Whether it's a dual-screen Windows or a dual-screen Android handheld console, they both, in essence, involve an issue of focus loss and switching. This implies that your controller would need you to tap to select whether it controls the upper screen or the lower screen. However, with the focus lock function, we can lock the focus on the upper screen, allowing the controller to always manage the upper screen while you concurrently play a touch-based game on the bottom screen. This way, you won't miss out on either, and there's no complex switching involved. This feature is actually really important because it offers more possibilities for multitasking on a dual-screen handheld console. For instance, you could play a game and look up a guide simultaneously, or play a major game while another is on autoplay. The overall experience becomes much more continuous and seamless. So, after discussing its 2 most crucial attributes, its ample size and exceptional software, I've actually discovered another distinctive way to enjoy it that works quite effectively. The experience of playing touch-based games on this device, using its upper screen, is surprisingly impressive, because its top screen is a singular display and remarkably slender. When you engage in touch controls with your fingers, it genuinely feels as though you are holding a like a small tablet. Your hands don't need to reach over the physical buttons and joysticks. You can naturally access the virtual button area. The lower body acts as a comfortable grip, providing support for both of your palms. This means even if you hold it while playing, your palms won't be suspended and you won't get too tired. Alternatively, you can just set it on a desk to play, which also works. This is an additional way to play with a clamshell handheld. Alright, that sums up my full review of the AYANEO Pocket DS dual-screen clamshell handheld. This device truly exemplifies how quantitative advancements can lead to a qualitative transformation. Its expansive screen and exceptional battery life have significantly enhanced the user experience. Additionally, its superior console software delivers outstanding performance in every intricate detail. So, that's all we have for today. That's all for our show. If you're interested, feel free to follow us and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.